Hello friends, welcome to Geology Concepts. In this video we will be discussing the GA aptitude and the part A section of the GATE Geology and Geophysics 2022. So let's start. The first question here says, inhaling the smoke of a burning tire could tire you quickly. So it's an easy one. C will be the correct answer. TYRE, tire, is the tire, rubber tire that we see, and tire is to get tired. You will be exhausted quickly. Okay, so this is C. A sphere of radius r, second question, is packed in a box of a cubical shape. What should be the minimum volume of the box that encloses the sphere? So if you have to completely enclose a sphere, its diameter should be completely inside, or the width of the side of the cube should be equal to the diameter, right? Then A, which is the side of the cube, should be equal to 2r, and therefore the volume will be A cube, which is 2r whole cube, which will be equal to 8r cube, which in this case will be D option. Okay. Third question, pipes P and Q can fill a storage tank in full with water in 10 and 6 minutes respectively. So, and pipe R draws the water out of the storage tank at the rate of 34 liters per minute. PQR operate at a constant rate. This rate is not changing. It's a constant rate. If it takes 1 hour to completely empty a full storage tank with all pipes operating simultaneously, what is the capacity of the storage tank in liters? So, let us assume that the storage tank has a capacity of V liters. So what will be the rate of P? So let's say the rate of P is equal to 10 minutes, right? It fills the tank in 10 minutes. So it will be V by 10 liters per minute. Similarly, the rate of Q will be V by 6 liters per minute, right? And the rate of R tap, which is emptying the storage tank, is 34 liters per minute. This is given in the question. Now it's saying if the tank is completely filled and all of these taps are operating simultaneously, then the net rate will be 34 minus V by 10 minus V by 6. Now this rate, this liters per minute, right? This is the rate by which the tank will get empty. Now if you want to calculate the V value, then time should be equal to volume divided by the rate, right? So here volume is V divided by this rate, which is 34 minus V by 10 minus V by 6, and this is taking 60 minutes, as it is saying here. It takes 1 hour, right? So this thing takes 60 minutes. Now we can solve this question from here. If you get just solve for V here, right? If you solve for V here, this will be 34 into 60 minus, this will be minus 6V minus 10V is equal to V. So if you solve this, this is 34 into 60 is equal to 17V. So you can calculate from here, V will be 120. So V is 120 liters. C will be the correct option. Next question. 6 persons P, Q, R, S, T and U are sitting around in a circular table. Okay. Not necessarily in the same order. The order कुछ भी हो सकता है. Consider the following statement. P sit next to S and T. So now if we assume that P sits here, let's say P is sitting here, right? This is P. Then the configuration will be S will sit here and T will sit here. Another configuration, if P is sitting here, will be T is sitting here and S is sitting here, right? Next, Q sits diametrically opposite to P. Q will sit here, here or here, correct? These two are the position for Q. The shortest distance between S and R is equal to the shortest distance between T and U. So let's say if R comes here, one possibility is if R comes here, another possibility is if R comes here, opposite to T and opposite to R. Okay? If this is R, then this will be U, right? And this will be U. Correct? Another possibility can be if this was P, this was S, this was T, this was Q, right? R can be here or U can be here, right? Similarly, same possibility can be here. If this is P, this is T, this is S, and this is Q, so this R can be here and U can be here. But these are the all cases that can be made from this information. From this much information, these are the cases that can be made. Now, based on the above statement, Q is the neighbor of. If you look at Q in all of these cases, it is neighbor of R and U. Correct? In all of these cases, it is the neighbor of R and U. So the correct option here will be C. C will be the correct option. Okay. Next. In a building, several rooms and doors are shown in the top view of the building as given below. The doors are closed initially. Okay. What is the minimum number of doors that need to be opened in order to go from point P to point Q? So if you have to go from here till here, first you will have to open this door. So 1. Now once you are here, if you are not opening this door, there is only one way to go here via these through doors. If you open this door, then you can directly go to Q. So at least one door you need more, right? At least you can go through these two doors also, but it is asking you minimum. So one more door. So 1 plus 1. So 2. C will be the correct option. 2 doors. Minimum 2 doors you have to open from going from point P to point Q. Now, this question, rice is a versatile, inexpensive source of carbohydrate, is a critical component of the diet worldwide. Climate change causing extreme weather pose a threat to sustained availability of rice. Scientists are working on developing green super rice, GSR, which is resilient under extreme weather condition. Which is resilient means if it grows in extreme weather also, the extreme weather will not destroy this crop. It is resilient against it, right? Weather condition, yet gives higher yield sustainably. Higher yield be there. Now, which of the following statement is correct? Logical inference. GSR is an alternative to regular rice. This is true. This part is correct. But it grows only in extreme weather. This is wrong. It can grow in any weather, but it is resilient in extreme. It will not get destroyed in extreme weather. So this option is wrong. GSR may be used in future in response to adverse effect of climate change. This is correct. Grows in extreme weather. This is wrong. Regular rice will continue to provide good yields. This is wrong. So B is the correct option here. Logically, we can say only B is correct. Now, a game consists of a spinning an arrow with around a stationary disc as shown. When the arrow comes to rest, there are 8 equally likely outcomes. It could come to rest at any of the sector from 1 to 8. Now the question is, what is the probability that sum of the numbers on resting sectors upon the sum spinning of the 2 discs is equal to 8? So the simple question is, if you rotate this needle will stop somewhere, this needle will stop somewhere, the sum should be 8. That is our favorable outcomes. What is the total number of outcomes? So for every 8 sector, there are possible 8 sectors here. So total outcomes here is 64. Right? Now the sum can be like this is 1, the sum can be 2, 3, 4, anything. So in this case, you can look at this table. If it stops at sector 1 and sector 1 on the other's wheel also, then the sum will be 2. If it stops at 1 and 2, then sum will be 3. So these are the possible sum that you can get, right? Out of this, we want to see which one will give you 8. So 8 you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times there are 7 such combinations like 1 and 7, 2 and 6, 3 and 5. There are 7 such combinations that will give you the sum of 8. So 7 is the favorable outcome and 64 is the total outcome. So 7 by 64 will be the correct option. Consider the following inequalities. 3p minus q is less than 4. 3q minus p is less than 12. Which of the following is satisfy the above two inequalities? So if I add these two, this will be 3p minus q plus 3q minus p less than 16. 3p minus p will be 2p plus 2q is less than 16. So this tells you that p plus q will be less than 8. You can take any two numbers here. P plus q will be less than 8. Right? So A will be the correct option. Now, there are three statements that are given and four conclusions. You have to see which one is correct. So let's see the statement. Some engineers are writers. So let's say there is a set that tells you that this is the set for engineers. Some engineers are writers. So if this is the set for writers, then some common section between them. These are the engineers that are writers. Right? I mean, these are the person, they are writers and engineers both. All actors are engineers. All actors are engineers. That means the subset of actor will be inside the engineer, because all actors are engineers. Correct? Now let's see what conclusion we can draw. Some writers are engineers. Some writers are engineers. Yes, this is correct. Conclusion 1 is correct. All engineers are actors. All engineers are not actors. If an engineer lies here, then he is not an actor, or he or she is not an actor. So all engineers are actors. This is wrong. No actor is a writer. So there is no overlap between writer and actor. Right? So this is correct. No actor is a writer. Okay. No writer is an actor. It was the statement. So this means there is no overlap between writer and actor. Okay. Then conclusion 4. Some actors are writers. Some actors. No, this is also wrong. So only 1 and 3 is correct. So only conclusion 1 and conclusion 3 is correct. C will be the correct option. Now last question. Question number 10. It says, which of the following sets of pieces can be assembled to form a square with a single round hole near the center? So if you look at the single round hole, first of all, this is not possible. Right? Let's see. See, this type of curve will never make a hole in the center. So this is not possible. Your correct option will be either from B or from C. Okay. So let's see. If I try to fit this here, and if I look at this one, yeah, this seems proper. C will be the correct option. This is based on imagination. You have to understand this and then try to figure it out. Okay, so the correct option will be C. Now this was the aptitude part. It was relatively easy. Now let's see the part 1 of the geology section, which is common section for both geology and geophysics. So let's see. Question 11. Which of the following is a typical product of ductile deformation? The answer will be myelonites. If you look at the ductile deformation zone in a fault area, the near the surface part is your brittle fracturing. As you go down the dominant ductile deformation, that is your part where you start to see myelonites. So breccia, gouge and cataclysmites, they all are in the brittle deformation. Ductile deformation is myelonites. So D. Then, which of the following coastal erosional landform is caused by action of sea waves? So ventifax is by wind, aeolian. Kettle is glacier, cirque is glacier, cliff is from the wave action. So cliff will be the correct option. This is how a cliff looks. Due to wave action, it becomes a very steep slope because it breaks the rock from below, then it falls down. So it's like this. It's very steep. Okay. Which of the following regions in the electromagnetic spectrum does the maximum atmospheric scattering occur? So if you know Rayleigh scattering, in Rayleigh scattering it is inversely proportional to the fourth power of the wavelength. So UV has the minimum wavelength, so this will have maximum scattering. A. You can see also here that if you are going in this direction from red, green, blue, or from visible towards UV, the scattering is increasing as the wavelength is decreasing. Also you can see in this picture, if you see the red filter only, then it is not scattered much. The picture is quite clear. Green is less, blue is more or less, and UV you cannot see cannot distinguish the clouds very properly here. So that's why, because UV is scattered, right? Maximum in out of these. So obviously A is the correct option here, which is scattered the most, right? This is Rayleigh scattering. Now, which of the following is the Poisson ratio for the incompressible fluid? Now, what is Poisson ratio? It is the ratio of lateral strain to longitudinal or axial strain. So if you are pushing something or if you are stretching something like this, in order to conserve the volume, because if it is incompressible, that means your volume is conserved, right? So this will get lateral strain from here so that the volume remains conserved. This ratio, the lateral to axial, is called as Poisson's ratio. Now I can give you a simple example. Let's say this is the x direction, this is the x direction, this is y direction, and this is z direction, and length of this is, let's say, length is L, width is B, and height is H, right? So initial volume of this body will be length into breadth into height. This will be the initial volume. Now let's say there is an extension along x-axis, right? And then the strain is Ex. Then new length, right? The new length will be L into 1 plus Ex, because Ex is a strain. The 1 plus Ex will be 1 point something times the original length, right? This is how we define. You know, ये कहाँ से आ रहा है बता देता हूँ आपको. You know that strain is L final minus L initial divided by L initial, right? This is length, so it is coming from here. So L final is equal to L initial plus E times L initial. So if you take L initial common, it is 1 plus E. So new length is this. So similarly, your new breadth will be B times 1 plus EY, and C will be, C prime will be, H prime will be H times 1 plus EZ, right? Now because it is incompressible, this volume should remain equal, right? So this LBH should be equal to L prime into B prime into H prime. Now if you do this, L this side, it will become LBH into 1 plus EX plus into 1 plus EY into 1 plus EZ, right? Now if you solve this, LBH, this will be 1 plus EX plus EY plus EZ, plus there will be other terms like EX, EY, EZ, EX plus EX, EY, EZ, right? But they are very small terms, so we are neglecting them, right? So we can approximate that this will be almost equal to this LBH, right? Now if you see here, from here we can say that LBH gets cancelled, so 1 is equal to epsilon x plus epsilon y plus epsilon z plus 1, right? So from 1 and 1 will also get cancelled. Finally you will be left with epsilon or Ex, Ey, Ez is equal to 0. Now Poisson ratio, let's say if there is extension in x direction, let's say x means we are assuming that y and z have same amount of lateral strain. We are assuming it is a same type of solid. So this Ex plus, I can write it 2 times Ey is equal to 0, right? So from here we get Ex is equal to minus 2 times Ey, or I can say Ey by Ex is equal to minus half. Now this is equal to minus times Poisson ratio, because this is what is written here. So this should be equal to minus times Poisson, because there is minus here. The minus time Poisson ratio. The minus time Poisson ratio is equal to minus half, where from here we can get Poisson ratio is equal to 0.5. So this is how it actually is calculated. But there is a direct formula also. I mean, most of the places you will see the solution, they will give you the formula and they'll put the value and they'll get 0.5 directly out of it, which is also correct. But this is the whole process here. You can see, we can directly see that, yeah, this you can do in exam also, right? You just have to focus on this part, incompressible, right? If you keep the volume equal, you can finally get at this point, right? The only approximation that is done here is that this strain or longitudinal strain and all the strains are very small, so the product of these is neglected because it will be a very, very small number. So that's all. Okay, moving on. Question 15. Which of the following periods belong to the Paleozoic era? Now, as we know, Paleogene and Cretaceous is not belong. Paleogene is from the Tertiary, Cretaceous is from the Mesozoic era. From Paleozoic we have Carboniferous and Silurian. Carboniferous and Silurian. There are Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous and Permian. Carboniferous is further divided into Pennsylvanian and Mississippian. But again, A and C will be the correct option. 16th. The average bulk density of a fully saturated sandstone reservoir with a fractional porosity of 0.23 is itne gram per cc. Now see, you have this sandstone, okay. Now in this sandstone, if I see, there are two things, right? There is sand particles and there is water, and it is fully saturated, means whatever is the pores, that is completely saturated with water, right? So 23%, right, porosity, 23% of the volume is water and 77% of the volume is sand. Now this question becomes easy. Let's say the total volume, you can start with that. Take a total volume of 100 ml, right? In that 77 ml will be occupied by the sand particles, sandstone, and 23 ml will be occupied by the water, right? Now you have to see what will be the density of this, right? So density क्या होता है? Density will be total mass. Now what will be the total mass? Total mass will be 77 is the sandstone, volume into density into 2.63, right? This is the mass of the sand, plus 23 into 1.05, right? This is the volume, or this is the mass of water divided by total, which is 100. So if you solve this, you will get 2.27 gram per cc. Remind you, milliliter and cc is same thing, so don't get confused there. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cc, centimeter cube. So answer will be 2.27. okay, rounding off to 2 decimal. Next part, question number 17. For a productive aquifer, alluvial aquifer with a hydraulic activity of 105 meters per day and hydraulic gradient of 0.01, the flow rate is, so K, see the flow rate, let's say V is equal to minus times K into I. Now K is hydraulic conductivity, which is 105, and I is 0.01 into 0.01, which is nothing but 1.05 meters per day. So answer will be 1.05. This minus sign tells you it is opposite to the pressure gradient. So 1.05 will be the correct answer, meters per day. 18, simple question. It is saying sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3. You have to use the Anderson fault theory. So sigma 3 is the minimum, which is vertical. So you can see here vertical. Sigma 1 is horizontal from this direction. So if sigma 1 is horizontal and sigma 3 is vertical, this will give you a, according to Anderson, this will give you a reverse fault. So C will be the correct option, reverse fault. Okay. 19. How many independent elastic parameters are needed to be describing a homogeneous isotropic material? So homogeneous means you take any point on that material, in every direction the parameters will be same, right? So how many parameters do you actually need to define? Well, this is the matrix, how it looks like of a general stress matrix. We can convert it into a stiffness matrix like this, which is for an isotropic material. For an isotropic material, you will have to have 21 independent elastic parameters, right? If you go for orthotropic, there will be 9. For orthotropic, we need 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 independent parameters. But if you go for isotropic homogeneous, here only 2 is enough. Either write C11 and C12. Only these 2 is describing all the directions, right? So, or you can write it also in terms of Lami's parameters, lambda and mu. For that also you will need only lambda and mu. So the answer here will be 2. You need 2 independent elastic parameters to describe a isotropic material in all the directions. Okay, so 2 will be the correct answer here. 20th easy question. Which of the following is mafic volcanic rock? If you look at these dacite, trachyte and rhyolite, they all fall in this IUGS classification, right? And this is a classification for felsic rock, right? So felsic volcanic rock, here rhyolite, dacite and trachyte all are there, but basalt obviously is a mafic rock. So D will be the correct option. The intercepts of the, so intercept is given, you have to find the Miller index. Very easy, every time this question comes. So your V's parameters are given here, right? Infinity A, 2 times B and 3C. These are called V's parameters in terms of intercepts. So first you do reciprocal of that. So 1 upon infinity, 1 upon 2, 1 upon 3. So this becomes 0, 1 by 2, 1 by 3. Make it integer, multiply it with 6, 0, 3, 2. This will be your Miller index. So 0, 3, 2, A will be the correct option. 0, 3, 2. Okay. Okay, 22. We have Vajra Karur is famous for diamond. Sukinda is for chromite. Malachkhand is for copper. And Mangampita is for barite. So 2, 1, 4, 3. C will be the correct option. See 23. We have to find the correct statement or statements. So it is a multiple choice. P waves are polarized in direction of propagation. S waves are polarized in direction of propagation. Rayleigh waves are electrically polarized. Love waves are elliptically. So obviously any 2 will be correct here. If you look at the P waves, it is polarized in the direction of propagation because there is compression and rarefaction. So it is moving along the particle motion is along the direction of propagation. So P waves are polarized in direction of propagation. A is correct. S is wrong. B is wrong. Rayleigh waves are elliptically polarized. If you look at Rayleigh waves, yes, they are elliptically polarized. There are elliptical movement. So C is correct. Love waves are elliptically polarized. No, love waves are horizontally polarized. If you see, they move in the horizontal plane like this. So D is the wrong option here. A and C is correct. 24. The difference in arrival times of P and S phase are generated by an earthquake and recorded at a seismological station in 1 second. Okay. So the value of TS minus TP is given to be 1 second. Okay. S will take more time, okay, because it moves slowly. So it will be TS minus TP over. Okay. Assuming homogeneous and isotropic earth. See, homogeneous and isotropic earth means it is moving in a straight line in all the directions. Okay. And P wave velocity is 3 kilometers per second. This is given. Vp is given to be 3 kilometers per second. And Vp by Vs is given to be 2. So obviously यहाँ से Vs निकल आएगा. Vs will be 1.5. Half of 3. Vp by Vs is 2. Anyways, Now you have to distance between the station and the hypocenter. Let's say distance between the station and hypocenter is d. So time will be distance upon speed. So this d divided by velocity of s wave, right, minus this same distance d divided by velocity of p wave, which is 3. This should be equal to 1. Now Vs is also given, 1 point calculated, right? So this becomes 3 by 2. So this becomes 2 by 3 minus 1 by 3 into d is equal to 1. So from here we get d by 3 is equal to 1 second, and so d here comes out to be 3 kilometers. So 3 kilometer will be the correct answer. Okay, 3 kilometers. 25th, assuming that the rate of rotation of Earth is 7.27 into 10 to the power minus 5 radians per second. Okay, omega is given. Omega is angular velocity, right? It is given as 7.27 into 10 raised to the power minus 5 radians per second, and radius of Earth is 6371. Okay, the radius of Earth is given to be 6371 kilometer. All right. The centrifugal acceleration at 60 degree latitude for a spherically rotating Earth. So for a spherically rotating Earth, let me show you. Let's say this is our Earth, right? This is the center. So this is the equator. So at 60 degrees. So let's say this angle is 60 degrees. So here you have to calculate what is the centrifugal acceleration here. So it is rotating along this axis, right? So the motion here will be like this, right? So this is the radius, right, or distance from the axis of rotation. Okay, now centrifugal acceleration is given by v square by r, or in terms of omega it is omega square r, but this r is this length, this is the r, right? So if this radius of Earth is 6371, this angle is 60 degrees, so this r will be equal to r cos 60, right? Cos 60 is half, so this will be equal to r by 2. This r here will be equal to r by 2. So your acceleration or centrifugal acceleration alpha will be equal to omega square r. So 7.27 into 10 raised to the power minus 5 whole squared into r, which is small r, which is r by 2. If you put the values here, you will get 16.8 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 kilometers per second, meters per second square, meter per second square. So this will be 16.8. 16.8 will be the correct option, correct answer. 26. The angle of inclination of a remnant magnetization of volcanic rock measured at a location is 45 degrees. So inclination is given. I is measured in a rock, it is 45 degrees. Okay. The magnetic latitude of the location of volcanic rock at the time of magnetization. So they are asking us about paleo latitude. We have to calculate paleo latitude, right? So the formula here is tan I is equal to 2 tan lambda, right? Now tan I is 45, so tan I is 1 is equal to 2 times tan lambda. So lambda will be equal to tan inverse 1 by 2. Tan inverse 1 by 2 is 26.6 degrees. So the correct answer here will be 26.6 degrees north. Okay. So this is the section, this was the aptitude and the part 1, the common section for geology and geophysics, and I think you got all the solutions, and we'll be releasing the second part soon. So second part you can find it on our channel. So all the best.